It has finally happened. It's finally happened, guys. We were promised weeks ago that Heimerdinger was going to be changed or reworked or touched in some shape or form. Or Donger was going to be touched in some shape or form. And I woke up today on my birthday, streamed for a little bit, and some guys in the chat linked the best birthday present that any man could ever receive. As sad as this sounds, Heimerdinger is getting buffed in 7.10. It's official. He is getting buffed, well, pretty much buffed in 7.10. Which is a little bit away because 7.9 is going to be mid-season and then there's going to be 7.10 out of that. So I would say we probably won't see the Heimerdinger changes for about a month. But we are going to see Heimerdinger changes finally, after all. So this video I'm going to break down pretty much the patch and what they're going to do and my thoughts and feelings on how this is going to affect Heimerdinger in some shape or form. So we'll work at the top and then slowly make our way down the list. So overall goals, guys, make Heimerdinger less oppressive against melee, which gives us room to buff him. So specifically reducing the amount of punishment melee champs take when being ambiently in range of turrets and tagged by the pheromone mechanic. Heimer's attacks and spells tag champions, which cause turrets to automatically target them. So what they're saying, guys, the pheromone mechanic is a fancy word for if you've ever played Heimerdinger and there's two people coming at you and you want your turrets to attack that person, the best way to do it is to use your missiles or auto attack them, because it automatically makes your turrets like a pet or a rabid dog to turn around and go, stop attacking my master! Ah! And then they use their laser beams and start targeting that person, which is a pretty awesome thing. And in my eyes, it's pretty damn epic, because it means you can pretty much focus a jungler if you're getting ganked, or always turn the tables and attack someone who is less MR, and so on, rather than just your turrets automatically attacking the thing closest to them. So it was pretty good. So it looks like they're going to kind of take that away, and tweak it in such a way that melee champs aren't going to get absolutely murked, but give them a buff in relation to this. We'll see what way he works it when we go down the list. And they want to increase Heimerdinger's viability in the mid lane. This is pretty awesome, guys, because there's so many mid laners out there that are just so much better than Heimerdinger right now. Cinder can burst you down with her R. Yaz has insane just burst as well, and insane mobility. You have Anivia with her wave clear, which is absolutely ridiculous. You have Echo and LeBlanc with their gap closers. You just have guys who bring something to the game which really has a significant impact in the lane. Heimerdinger has his turrets, yes, but his push potential is kind of just mitigated and taken away because his turrets are easily destroyed early game. They also want to buff underperforming R options so that RQ is not always correct. This is going to be interesting, guys, because RQ is the be all and end all of what I use predominantly. The only time I'm ever going to use RW is if, say, their carry has no MR, or if say they're all bunched up and we have a good wombo combo potential. I'm going to use my alt grenade, my alt E. So say, you know, we have a Hecarim engage with my alt with, say, a potential Ori alt as well, or a Malphite or so on. That's whenever I'm going to use my grenade. Grenade doesn't have a lot of damage, but it's pretty good stun. And my alt W will realistically destroy anyone as long as you have no MR, but come the end, mid to late game, people are going to have MR. Someone's going to have a Maul of Man Mortis, someone's going to have a Spectre's Coil, and so on. So that's usually completely taken out of the game. So in team fights, Alt R is pretty much the only thing that I do, because it adds something different to a team fight. People have to work around that turret, that large turret, you know, can AoE them down, you know, can steal objectives and so on. So it'll be interesting to see what way they change his ultimate. So moving on to general thoughts. General thoughts. Heimer has historically been a tough champion to just buff in isolation because of his tendency to ambiently destroy melee matchups. Okay, that makes sense because obviously the turrets, whenever they engage, throw a stun down, dead. When he is strong, usually results in non-interactive lanes by pushing them in constantly. Well, you guys have all seen my build from last season, Zezirot, Banner, Command. I think everyone has pretty much seen it. And yeah, it was so overpowered, but it wasn't that fun to play. It was literally just, leave me alone, I'm going to take your turret, I'm going to take your next turret, I'm going to take your next turret, and then I'm going to take your inhibitor. And that was pretty much all you would do. And then you just keep switching lanes to try and just take as many objectives as possible. It wasn't that fun, but it was pretty damn overpowered, and that's why they in turn nerfed Banner. We know that Heimer players enjoy playing him for the turrets, and so we're trying to find a way to make the turrets have better gameplay without isolating Heimerdinger players. Yeah, we all love the turrets, guys. That's what we kind of do. You know, the turret setup is where predominantly most of Heimerdinger's damage comes from. Heimer is generally more performant the lower MR you go, or worse, the higher you go, meaning that Heimer is viable in higher MMRs. He will usually be absolutely destroying lower MMR. So what they're saying is that whenever you hit Diamond or Challenger or Master, Heimerdinger isn't that great, but whenever you are, say, Silver, Gold, even Plat, definitely Bronze, you will be destroying people. Reason being, Heimerdinger, he's a champion that isn't played a lot. People don't really cope well with uncertainty or champs that they've never really seen before. And that's why being a one-trick pony is kind of good whenever it comes to playing him in Diamond, because I know the ins and outs of him. I know exactly what counters him, how to play around certain matchups, and how to like steal objectives, how to build them properly, and so on. And that's why I do well in Diamond. But if anyone who isn't a one-trick pony plays him in Diamond, then realistically they're not going to do that well. It'd be like me picking up, say, Talia or Anivia or Lux, champs that I played okay, but if I play them in Diamond, I'm probably not going to have as good a time as I would if I played Heimerdinger. In this sense, it is desirable to inject some skill into his kit. Oh, some skill into his kit? Really, Riot? You had to go there? To allow him to be more viable in higher MMR without breaking lower MMR. Okay, and this is what they're going to do. Right. Change list, stats. Already, they are changing his HP regen to 1.4 from 2.2. Okay, but that's a nerf, but the reason is with the new passive, he doesn't need abnormally high HP regen. So guys, they have changed his passive. They've changed his passive. Thank baby Jesus. Alright, thank you, Riot Gods. So, the passive, guys. The passive. And I have said this in many streams and in many videos that his passive is what needs changed. And I don't know if Riot has somehow in the ether seen my very small channel and my videos and they've listened, or if someone else has went to them and said to them as well after seeing my videos, but I have been a massive advocate for changing his passive. And here we go. Moves 20% faster around turrets, SR turrets, Summoner Rift turrets, and his own turrets. Which, this is pretty epic. This is exactly what he needed. Gives him a reason to play and maneuver around turrets apart from damage. This is cool. This is really, really cool. The reason Heimerdinger hasn't really been that great is because of him having no gap closers, no escapes. So you would gank him and he would just get ganked over and over and over again. Once his flash was blown, would force him to build Rileys, and even then he was always susceptible to ganks. What you would end up doing as Heimerdinger is you would just set your 3 turrets down, use your alt turret, have ignite, and hope to God you killed one of the, say, jungler or the mid laner engaging you. One of the 2 that's trying to kill you. And that's what you had to just do, okay? And it got to the point where you would do that so many times that it wouldn't be beneficial for the jungler to come, because he knows that I would always get a kill, so you'd have to go other lanes. This, guys, is pretty damn good, because it just means that it makes him a little bit more viable. It makes him a little bit more viable. You can maybe dodge an extra skill shot here and there. The fact that it's not just his own turrets and it's Summoner Rift turrets as well is really, really cool. I cannot wait to see this come live. It's going to be something really, really different, something interesting. And this is exactly what he needed. And 20% is quite a lot, guys. 20% is quite a lot. You know, if you build this with a ZZ, maybe like a Luden Zeko, and maybe mobility bits, jeez, this could be fun. This could be fun. So, turrets, a big one, a main one. Base damage is being crazily nerfed, okay? It's literally being halved, okay? It's being halved. So, as they say, this is a large nerf and significantly hampers early game ambient turret damage in laning phase, but builds back up in mid game. Okay, so they're trying to take away his early game to give him something back in his mid and his late, where beforehand, Heimerdinger would have quite good early game, alright, pretty good mid game, and alright late game. So you kind of peak early to mid. Cooldown has been reduced, which is pretty epic, to 20, and turrets can hold 3 from the get-go. So from level 1, you can hold 3 turrets. That alone is a pretty good buff. You know, that is a buff, guys. That's pretty damn epic. You know, having the weight to be able to hold 3 turrets for a long time. Maybe, I think it's like level 8, potentially. Don't quote me on it. It's kind of annoying only being able to hold 1 turret and put 1 down, and then wait till that turret ticks up again. Because what you do is, if you didn't go to lane early and put your 3 turrets down, and you went there late, if you put your 1 turret down, then whoever you were against, say an Ahri, they would just automatically focus that turret, and you have no real wave clear or real damage until maybe like level 4, 5, 6. So this is pretty damn good. This is pretty damn good. Beam attack time to charge is increased from 16 to 50. That is a big increase. Greater emphasis on landing spells to have your turrets perform in laning phase rather than autonomously destroying people. So instead of just your turrets just murking people while you run around them, they've changed things. Okay, so when we go down the list, hopefully it will make sense why they have increased that cooldown to 50 seconds. 50 seconds is a really long time. I think they should maybe change that in some shape or form. I guess they'll test it once it comes live, but maybe even 40 seconds. 50 is a hell of a long time. But we'll see. Mana bar for beam attack changed from blue to white instead of having a blue bar on top of another blue bar. That makes sense. That just makes sense. Alright. Rocket. Okay, W guys. Mana cost has been pretty damn heavily reduced. From 70 to 50 and 110 to 90. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. Cooldown. Cooldown has been significantly reduced. Usually the cooldown wouldn't change, guys. It was always a flat 11 unless you built CDR. 7-second cooldown on your missiles is going to be pretty damn good. It's going to maybe force people to build some kind of mana, some kind of regen. Each rocket hit on champions... Oh, here we go. Each rocket hit on champions charges 20% of each nearby turret's beam attack. Okay, so each rocket hit on champions. So does that mean if I have 3 rockets and they all hit, which usually they do, you never really fire them out like that, you fire them out like that. Does that mean that it charges 60% of the beam attack then? That's pretty good. So, long story short, TLDR, whenever your rockets hit champions, it reduces the cooldown of your laser beams. So that's why they've set it so high, 50. So it forces you to land skill shots to in turn reduce the laser beam cost. Pretty damn cool. It's kind of like Zillion in a way, the way his stuff reduces. So this is really adding a different mechanic and a significantly different play style to Heimerdinger. Obviously, you've always wanted to land your skill shots. Why would you not want to land skill shots? But reducing the mana allows you to constantly poke, and in turn, hopefully, if you're good at landing your skill shots, then murk people with your beams, with your laser beams. So, moving on to grenade. This intrigues me, guys. This is what kind of intrigues me. The grenade hitbox has been increased, okay? So, the overall hitbox is about, say now this size, from this size, but the stun hitbox stays the same. So if you aren't really used to what Heimerdinger's hitbox is, with this grenade, the way it works is in the center, there's 2 circles, okay? So there's 1 circle here and a smaller circle here. The smaller circle is what you land to get the stun, and then anything landing in the outer circle will get a slow. So with him increasing the hitbox, it just means that even if you miss it, there's more of a chance of landing a slow, which is pretty damn good, because it is a very small hitbox, and I think that this is a pretty damn good way moving forward with it. Cooldown. Cooldown has been... Whoa! Cooldown's been really heavily reduced. It's actually been reduced to 12 seconds from 18, 16, 12... 18, 16, 14, 12, and 10. So it's a flat 12, where before your missiles had a flat cooldown. Now your grenade has a flat cooldown. This is pretty damn good. It maybe forced people to use the grenade a lot more. I know that I didn't use it early game a lot because it didn't have a lot of damage, and it pretty much had a very long cooldown. So you would never ever use it to wave clear, you would never use it to just poke or do any damage, unless you're going to follow up with an ultimate like an alt rockets and so on. So this could force people to use the grenade in more kind of scenarios. Make it less punishing to fish for ease in lane. Pretty good. A successful E hit. Oh, here we go. Here we go. What it means there when it says make it less punishing to fish for ease in lane, as in, you know, if you missed your stun, if you missed your grenade, there was 18 seconds before you could potentially maybe land it again. So it means that you can be a bit more reckless with throwing your grenades. You know, they want you to throw your grenades because there's only a 12-second cooldown on it, which is pretty good. Okay, so a successful E hit on a champion charges all nearby turrets to beam charge. Oh my god. Oh my god. So if you land an E, a successful E hit, does this mean an E hit within... See, this is kind of murky. When I mean that, it says a successful E hit. So does that mean it doesn't have to be a stun? It can just be in the general hitbox area, like the kind of just grenade hitbox, or does it have to be a stun? Regardless, it automatically makes your beams full charge. So it reduces the cooldown from 50 to 0. So this is pretty damn insane. Insane. All this is doing, guys, all this is doing is forcing Heimerdinger players to focus more on landing skill shots. And I do think that this is an overall buff. So far, this is a really, really good buff for Heimerdinger. You know, we have 20% increased movement speed around turrets. We have reduced cooldown and mana on his rockets. The only thing that's maybe changed is his turrets, but like they said, they want people to focus more around skill shots. The turrets will still be there, but I think this is going to be really, really good. So moving down to the ultimate. General thoughts on R spells. RQ, Big Bertha, Big Dirty Bertha. Given that RQ doesn't consume a cooldown, this is likely to be used in a lot of cases. Of course, it's my be-all and end-all of Heimerdinger whenever I'm playing him. It didn't feel impetus to change it, was exploring some iterations where it was used as a sieging tool, attacked slowly, but it was high range and low in combat value to nuke down turrets. So they're not changing it, they're keeping it exactly the way they are, and I think that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect, and you know, it isn't overpowered. His big turret, his RQ, was never overpowered, guys. He was never destroying people with it. You know what I mean? It was never broken. It was never ever broken. And you still can use it as a siege tool. You can still use it to tank towers. I do it. You've seen my video where I have shown you guys how to dive by pretty much using it to tank towers. It's awesome. Okay, so I'm happy that they're keeping it. They're not touching it at all. Big rockets, RW. Still feel like this spell is usable on follow-up CC and sometimes off a grenade's stun hit. Perfect, that's exactly why we use it, but didn't feel comfortable increasing its damage. I would agree, okay? You know, I'm trying to be not biased at all, but I would agree. Increasing its damage would just be ridiculous. You know, it does a lot of damage. If they don't build any MR, you have Thunderlords. If you land a grenade, especially nowadays, especially now with this change, you know, say you have full beams, people are still going to melt. So changing the rockets really, really wouldn't have that of a significant impact, okay? But this seems to be where they have put their time and effort in. The big grenade. Big grenade, R8, okay? They have significantly increased the base damage, but only after the second and third level up. So it's went from 150 to 150, stayed the same. 200 to 250 and 250 to 350. 250 to 350 is a pretty big jump. And guys, this is sick. They have increased the AP ratio from 60% to 90%. This is really, really good. RE on live is usable, but given that it consumes your E cooldown, it could be more powerful. Right, so it'll be interesting to try and mix it up and try and see what way the new RE will work in teamfights. Like, already if I use my ult grenade in teamfights, like I said at the beginning, if I land it, it's literally just for the stun. It's not for damage at all. It's just for a stun. It's for the follow-up from a Hecarim. It's from the follow-up from a Malphite or an Orianna. That's what it's for, okay? But with an AP ratio being increased from 60 to 90% and the base damage being increased, I am excited to see what crazy ass damage I can pump out in team fights and engages with this alt grenade. This is going to be just as good as an Ori ult. I think people are going to respect Heimerdinger's viability in team fights specifically because of this grenade. You know, Orianna is so good because of her wombo combo and her ult, and the damage she can pump out with that ult is sick. And I think this could force Heimerdinger players to use the grenade, possibly over everything else, possibly. But so far, guys, I think that this is going to be a really good change for Heimerdinger. I think this is a buff. It is a buff. We have increased damage, we have reduced cooldowns, we have reduced mana, we have increased movement speed. The only thing that kind of maybe is a bit crappy is the fact that they have really heavily nerfed the turrets. They've nerfed the damage quite hard, like literally halved it. But I think that the way they've mixed it around with the laser beams and stuff could be pretty damn cool. It could be cool. It does make it more skill based. It will make it that you can't just run around your turrets and hope the laser beams pop off and kill people on Thunderlord's procs. And they obviously they did change his passive. His passive has been very slightly nerfed, but no, well, they didn't really nerf his passive. They just nerfed his regen to give him an epic passive. But that's my take on everything, guys. That's how I feel. That's me kind of breaking it down. Hopefully you guys agree and think it is a buff. The only thing is that Heimerdinger could potentially become so strong that he will get banned, and that's what we don't want, guys. We don't want Heimerdinger coming out with all guns a-blazing, a new kit, and people going, geez, like, have you seen the amount of damage his grenade does? Have you seen the just the sick push potential that he has? Every Heimerdinger that I play against has 10-0 at 14 minutes in. You don't want that. What we want is a smooth transition, a smooth rollout. We don't want him to be so OP that he gets banned every game, because being a one-trick pony, I do not want to be playing Diamond 3, Diamond 2, and then ban Heimerdinger, because then things get messy. Then things get messy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and you're looking forward to the Heimerdinger buffs as much as I am. I doubt it though. I doubt it. Can't wait. Can't wait. But please slap a like on it below. It does help me out. But until next time, bros, take it easy. Peace out. And good luck on the rift.